Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stoppin'. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
Garrett.
Hey, Nate.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. Well, I missed you guys. It was a long week, really.
Yeah, welcome back to Nebraska.
Thank you. I got to say, it was really weird not doing the show for a week. Yeah, I thought it'd be no big deal, and I thought, like, a week's going to go by so fast.
Well, dude, so much happened, too.
I know. There's no way we're covering everything this week.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought to myself, we'll do a week off. We can show some of our new listeners some of our old conspiracy stuff, because that's always kind of fun. And I thought, like, then you know what? When we come back, we could maybe go a little bit longer. We'll have a little bit extra stuff. I can't believe how much stuff we have to cover. There's no way we're covering it tonight.
Dude, you know, ever since we started this, when we first talked about it, we were like, well, I wonder how much we'll have to talk about, you know. But it's been every single week has been so much going on. Is it just going to be like that forever?
I kind of think so.
Just every week there's going to be 10 million
For
things.
those that don't know, our first show ever was the first debate between Trump and Biden. That's right. And then afterwards, I mean, it went good. We had a lot of viewers, a lot of fun. We had some smart comments and from our listeners and stuff. That's a good one to start on, because we got a lot of followers for that show, just because everybody was waiting for that debate. Everybody was. And so that kind of jump-started us. And then after our second show, we didn't know what the hell to do. So we played a documentary, the one about Q. We're just going to watch it through and pause it and talk about it. And it's going to be like, that was kind of our thought. Like, oh, you want to play some cool documentaries? Like, it's a lot more fun when you guys are just riffing and not talking about this documentary. So we quit pretty much right away.
Yeah, we should go over that sometime, though, still.
I know.
It's such an interesting documentary.
God, a lot of it's got to be wrong with what's happening with Q.
Well, the parts about Q are probably wrong.
The whole thing was basically centered around Q.
I'd have to watch it again.
Yeah, I mean,
but dude, how was your vacation to Florida?
Oh, it was really nice. It was so nice not wearing a mask.
That's what I was gonna ask.
You know, the only place that we had to wear a mask was on the plane, of course. But even that really wasn't as strict as you know, you see videos of people getting thrown off because their mask slits below their nose or whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that at all. And my 3-year-old daughter, I let her run around the airport a lot without a mask. It was not a big deal. And we went to Universal Studios. Apparently Disney sold out. I didn't really think about getting tickets beforehand. And apparently you had to get tickets like weeks in advance. So we went to Harry Potter World. And there they were strict. I mean, if you took your mask off, they have people telling you to put it back on, but it's not like they throw you out or anything.
That's kind of weird to me that they would. I guess the private companies enforcing the mask, but they don't have to because the state's not required.
They don't have to. There's still a lot of signs on places saying masks required, but you go in and nobody's really wearing them, even the workers there. Like, we went to a pizza place that first night, so we got in really late at the pizza place, and you could tell they were almost laughing at us when we all walked in with our masks on and stuff.
That's funny.
But
you
Walmart
know,
still was strict.
I'll bet you still saw people voluntarily wearing masks.
Yep.
And that's fine. They can do that. They've always been able to do that.
Yep.
But it's just so obvious to me that
There's a
it should
debate
be a
on
choice.
how effective that is or not, for sure. But I think if I was unvaccinated and I was 80, I would probably take the chance with a mask. And I'd
I
have
maybe
proper-
would, except
I would try
I
to
don't
make
think
sure
it's
fit
helpful. I think
right.
it's
I
harmful.
wouldn't touch it a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
But
not helpful. But if I
don't
didn't think
either.
that, I would wear it.
I also don't think it's if you're conscious of it, I don't think it's a detriment a whole lot.
I kind of do. Yeah.
But
I think it's bad
and for
not having
sure,
oxygen
but
levels.
for sure, DeSantis has got to run for president. He's got to.
I saw a picture of him meeting with Trump. Did you see that?
Oh no, but
Yeah.
Trump kind of lifted him. If it wasn't for Trump, he wouldn't have won. He probably wouldn't have even won his runoff against the other Republican nominee. He was kind of the underdog there, and Trump gave him a bump. And then, like we talked about, Gilliam, he barely beat him. And boy, would this be different. Thank God for the way the states are set up with states' rights.
Yeah.
And hopefully, and I don't think they could, but hopefully they can't undo that, because that is making such a huge difference.
Oh, it's saving the world.
We were told that Florida was going to be on fire and Biden was going to ban travel to Florida. And then with Texas, we were told, wait 2 weeks, and then wait 2 more weeks, wait 2 more weeks. And then
wait forever.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, we had Gretchen Whitmer, who had the most probably draconian lockdowns of any state, and they are burning up right now. They are on fire, like we were told Texas and Florida was going to be. DZD, welcome back, buddy.
What's up, man?
So you have, because of the states' rights of Texas and Florida setting this precedent. We talked about this in the past. We won the war on COVID. At least our attacks on our freedom and stuff, and we don't have to go back over that. But it just...
Oh, yeah. You still think it's over, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I used
Don't tell Canada, Garrett.
I used to love to go and go to Q-type websites and listen to the Q-sphere and stuff. It's harder for me to find those now. But what I love doing is going to the Doomer sites. DZD was at the other free state.
Yeah. Texas and Florida leading the way.
Yeah. But I love going to like the coronavirus subreddit, and even there, basically at this point, they're like, well, I got my shots. I'm not wearing a mask anymore. It's widely open. They are actually saying the CDC is doing a terrible job of not setting guidelines. They basically just say mask up forever. And they're saying if they would tell people once this percent of people get vaccinated or whatever, or have immunity, we'll not recommend the mask, even though I think that's terrible. But it's better than what they're doing.
But they can't do that because then it's not indefinite enough, and they need it to go forever, right? Which is exactly what Jim Jordan tried to pin Fauci down on.
We've got to watch that.
Yeah,
I know we've been beating that to death recently. We've got to watch that. We have so much to cover today.
Yeah,
we have a new UFO that the Pentagon, I think it is, basically said that it's a legit video and they don't have an explanation for it. On the conspiracy front, we have the half human, half ape embryos, and
we've got to show the UFO stuff.
Yeah, we have to show all that today. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to have to.
Well, let's get into it, man. I guess let's show.
What do you want to start with?
I think we should show Jim Jordan pin down Fauci.
One more thing real quick before we start. Did you see also Florida just passed like an anti-riot type bill? So like if you hit a rioter in your car, you don't get charged. I think there's more to it than that. Have you seen that? It just passed today.
Let's take a road trip down there. No, I haven't.
You know what we haven't talked about hardly at all too is the Chauvin trial. That's over now.
Oh my God. Is it over?
Yeah, they're deliberating right now.
Wow,
boy, I got to tell you, if you listen to the mainstream media or Reddit, if you read the Reddit threads on this, you're basically thinking that this is a formality. He's obviously guilty. He's going down. But if you go and watch the trial, it's just thinking like you feel gaslit. You're like, am I going crazy? This is not at all what they're saying is happening. I think he's got 2 counts. I think 2 counts that they charged him with. I think one was like 3rd-degree murder and one was manslaughter.
Yeah, it was 2nd-degree murder, 3rd-degree murder, and manslaughter.
Okay. And there's betting markets right now on which ones he's going to get charged with. And
I
it's
wonder
kinda
what the
interesting
odds are.
movement. I sent it to you in a text. We could probably pull it up. I'm thinking about putting a lot of money on zero. I think there's a chance to get acquitted. I don't think it's a very high one, but I think it pays at like 3 or 4 to 1 right now. I think just as a gambling person, those are pretty good odds to take.
So
I think he's probably going to get one charge. If
I
had
do
to take a
too.
guess.
I haven't followed it very closely. I watched some highlights of the trial, and then I talked to some people at the poker table, and I think that, and some other people, and I think that if I was going to bet, not knowing much about it, I think he'll be found innocent of the murder charges and guilty of the manslaughter. That's what I would bet on right now, but I'm kind of
And I think
not,
you get like 2 to 1 odds if you do take that.
I don't know if I'm just not confident enough because I haven't.
I know I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch.
And like I said, I hope he doesn't get off. I think what he did was terrible.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me right now that would think it'd be a funny slap in the face to the media. And it's so funny to watch the left just rooting for the prosecutor so much when this is stuff that in the past they're going to root against. And of course, Minnesota's going to burn either way.
I know. How crazy is that?
Already shops are boarding up, but it's not going to help. They're going to be burnt down.
Yeah.
I just move to a red state, people.
Yeah.
Red
We've said
states
it
right now
before.
are blowing up. I think only
Miggles.
guilty of manslaughter. I think it's only murder 3 and manslaughter, I think.
Because I think that, the amount of fentanyl in his system is by itself like reasonable doubt. You know what I mean? Even though the video, like, I
That's the
agree with
thing,
you.
that-
Like, I think he did something criminal there.
And you're not found, I mean, our listeners obviously know this. You're not found innocent. You're found not guilty.
Right.
And I hope he gets some punishment. I think
Me too.
he's a
I hope
piece
he
of
gets.
shit.
I hope he gets whatever he should get. But I think maybe that's manslaughter.
Yep.
You know.
How come they aren't impeaching Maxine Waters?
No shit. Because she.
we talked about the first time when they were going to Trump, where they actually went and took some of Maxine Waters' tweets and attributed them to Trump and read them to sitting congressmen. And they're like, yep, he needs to be impeached for that. Well, okay, Maxine Waters said that. They just misattributed it on purpose. And of course, nothing.
And then they
There are just
backpedal.
no consequences. I watched it. The judge called out Maxine Waters for I heard that. Ridiculous comment about the trial, making it possible to appeal.
Ned Pepper.
You talking about potential? Yeah.
Potential mistrial because of Maxine Waters'
Yep.
comments?
There was another part where there was mistrial. They were told, so the state fucked up pretty bad. They did not, so they checked his blood and stuff for carbon monoxide to see if like he could have died by carbon monoxide poisoning. And it came up, no, he couldn't. But they didn't submit it as evidence soon enough. So the judge basically told him, if you guys say carbon monoxide, it's a mistrial. And they fucking did. The prosecution went on there and said, well, and obviously we know from the blood work that he didn't die from carbon monoxide poisoning. So there, they could talk about mistrial with that too.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, man. So what if it's a mistrial? What would happen? They just retry?
Just retry it, I think.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Maybe we should show Maxine Waters'
You know what they
comments.
usually do? They usually start going for mistrial if he's found guilty, of course. So it's almost like you have nothing to lose on the first one. You're either found not guilty or they do a retrial type of thing, if you know what I mean. But
Maybe we should show Maxine Waters'
let's
comments.
do it. Yeah.
Because what did she say? What did she even say, dude? Okay.
It's pretty bad.
At least she's got her COVID protection on here.
And I hope that we're going to get a verdict that is say guilty, guilty, guilty. And if we don't, we cannot go away.
And not just manslaughter, right? I mean,
Oh no, not manslaughter. No. This is guilty for murder. I don't know whether it's in the first degree, but as far as I'm concerned, it's first degree.
It's not on the
what
table.
happens if we do not go?
As far as she's concerned, first degree murder. Yeah, because you
She's
don't know what
obviously watched a lot of it.
she don't know what the hell she's
He
talking about.
drove there thinking, I'm gonna kill this fucking guy.
Exactly. It's good.
Jesus
It's just
Christ.
crazy, But she's a low IQ person, so I don't
Yeah, for
blame her
sure.
for thinking that. I love that Trump called her a low IQ person. That's a great way to call someone stupid.
Nobody's better at nicknames than Trump.
Yeah.
Get what you just told. What should the people do? What should protesters on the street do?
I didn't hear you.
What happens? What should protesters do?
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
Okay, so was that it?
It doesn't. I think so.
I mean,
thought
I
there was more
suppose
to
that's
that.
enough. Get more confrontational. Stay on the streets. And
Yeah,
get
I
more
think DZD's right.
Oh,
I've
okay.
just seen the quotes written. I've never actually watched the video. I think she does.
Yeah, I
go
haven't
on to
seen
say
it.
a lot more. Yep. But there is not a whole lot of repercussions. It seems like for the left. I mean,
know.
we've got Cuomo who killed a fuck ton of old people and at least unwanted sexual advances, and it sounds like even sexual assault, case after case after case, and nothing's coming of it. I mean, that guy's still kicking.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like the left they must have just way more power than the right for some
the
reason.
media, as much as I try to downplay it, the media is just super fucking powerful.
Yeah. Luckily,
It's
they're
just
losing that power.
big
I
time.
think, because of...
Here's the bad thing. They were losing that power to Twitter and Twitter Live and
Oh, God, good
YouTube
point.
and all that.
Good
but
point.
now they're taking that power back. I mean, YouTube had this big thing where, they got in trouble for that Elsa Gate and stuff, the sick fucks. So what they did was the party of the pedos, they went and gave more power to. Now, instead of going through independent content people and independent people shows like us and stuff, now they only use like CNN and MSNBC in the big news,
Right.
and they use that as their excuse.
Yeah.
Cuomo is kind of a folk hero now for not caving. Are you shitting me?
He should be in jail.
It's just funny how easy it was to kill the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Just
All they needed was Joe Biden be president.
yeah, Joe Biden and now this.
Well, one
Yeah.
more thing about these riots. I wanted to show this video. I don't know where this was, but it's okay, on Twitter it's called Trump Was Right Again. So it's a minute long.
Tiger, you have been out here. Have you been out here the last couple of days?
Yeah. Well, I've been here all 4 nights. I'm just standing here today with soup for my family.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made.
So I just saw this video and I had never thought about that. But then it shows this dude's got a can of soup and he's saying like, yeah, I can't wait to chuck this at somebody.
Jesus Christ.
So Trump was right again, but I'll bet that hurts really badly.
Yeah. You know what? Bad enough that I think the thought now of what brought us to biped or like to be walking upright was probably to throw stuff. You're walking with a group of other humanoids and a tiger comes. If you pick up rocks and stuff and start launching at it, you have a chance.
Yeah.
Which on all fours, you could basically just run. You could get so much force behind that. That could kill someone if it hits them wrong.
We had an egg night in Elm Creek where I grew up, and you could throw eggs at each other. It was like one night of the year. And I remember those. I mean, it felt like rocks crushing you, and it was an egg. I can't imagine a can of soup.
I accidentally hit a kid in the eye, and his eye was just bloodshot red for.
You guys did that in West Point too?
Yeah. I feel so bad for doing that.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, they leave welts and stuff.
Yeah, so a can of soup, I'll bet you could do some real damage. Yeah. That's my point.
Yeah. You could kill someone with that.
Yep.
I had a patient once that was walking on the side of the road, and a car was driving by at like 60, and they had a gallon of water. A gallon of water weighs about 10 pounds. They threw it out the window, and it hit him right between the shoulder blades, and it messed him up for years after that.
Yeah, damn. But yeah, I'm sure it was, Ned. Yep, you got that rocket arm, man.
So yeah, we're gonna see. It's obvious that the media is trying to inflame people right now, and they're setting up riots.
Yeah,
which, I don't know. Yeah. They how about the CBS thing where they basically edited that video So one of those latest shootings, the guy doesn't have a gun in his hand, according to that video. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did, and I think that's
they brought in the edges just enough so it hides the gun. So, and they even kind of like made a point to say on air that he was unarmed, but he really wasn't.
unreal. Like doing that is inciting violence. Yeah, they want people. They want us to kill each other. I really think that the media wants us to kill each other. It must be great for ratings or something.
I think it's part of it. The fear porn of COVID is going away. Half the U.S. half the adults in the U.S. now have at least their first vaccination. But I think too is a lot of the individuals, the journalists and all that. I think that they care more about their ideology anyway, and so they would rather push their ideology than stay in business. They don't care about integrity anymore.
Oh no, I agree. I think integrity left in like 1970 or something.
Yeah.
But the fact of like photoshopping out a gun or editing it out and then saying unarmed and things, it's unreal, especially in the today's climate.
We go way back to the Zimmerman thing where they edited the 911 call to say he's alone and he's black. But they edited out them asking what race the kid was.
Oh my God! Yeah. See, look at that.
It goes way back to then, even.
See, that needs to be criminal. They shouldn't be able to do that shit.
And they're not only not embarrassed because all the other news companies do the same thing, so they cover for you. They just put a little retraction. Like most Democrats right now probably don't believe that the dossier on Trump was false. That that was also false with Trump was the Russians having basically bounties on the head of U.S. soldiers.
Oh yeah, I remember
that was false. Not only that, the guy that wrote that basically wrote that article that started it, he's doubling down on Twitter. Someone called him out on it. He says, "I stand by it." He's like, "This is what I'm referring to, not that." Basically, he's lying.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get a promotion at work.
Yeah. Yep. So I think but the good news is their ratings are plummeting, and it's only going to get worse. Yeah. But we've got to do something about big tech to really make a difference. And once again, that's what DeSantis wants to do. He's trying to, at the state level, even go after them. O'Keefe, I don't know if you probably saw that video, but they honeypotted a guy from CNN with through Tinder. This girl went on 5 dates with them, and he finally started talking about CNN, and it makes him look terrible. So Twitter banned him and basically tried to say that he's got multiple accounts. He filed a lawsuit. That might actually be huge. If he could prove that, this is a discovery phase of Twitter might blow this whole thing up.
This would be awesome.
Yeah, that might be
something
huge.
does need to happen with them.
Ed says it's not even ideology anymore. It's straight team politics. Whatever stance Democrats are willing to take, they will have loyal followers. Well, we always like to talk about conspiracies that turn out to be true. There was one of them where Hillary's campaign team was caught basically talking to CNN, MSNBC, all the news, and they would ask Hillary and them saying, "How do you guys want us to spin this? Do you guys have any statements on this?" So basically, whatever came out, they would go to them first and say, "What do you want us to say about this?"
Yeah.
Did you see the autopsy results for the officer killed at the January 6th protest? Yep.
Dude, that's one of the biggest, I think it should be huge news that they lied about that guy being. Yeah, they said he was bludgeoned to death with a fire extinguisher.
They're trying to muddy the water by saying, "Well, he did die of a stroke, but if someone is bludgeoned by a fire extinguisher, that could cause a stroke." So they're trying to muddy the waters with that right now.
Dude, they should be in jail for that, know. And look at that. They so desperately wanted to say it was a violent insurrection that they took this poor cop who died of a stroke, and they, completely.
Didn't his family even come out and basically say that this is all false?
I don't know. They should. I wonder if his family was sure. Imagine if his family didn't know how he died, and they're hearing that he got bludgeoned to death. It's like, holy shit. Man. In the meantime, the only violent death that occurred at the Capitol was that poor lady who was shot.
Ashley Bobbitt, who... Ash, hey buddy.
Ash, what's up, man?
Who they also now they decide they're not pressing charges against that cop, and they are off. It's not a cop, whatever he is, and they won't even release his name.
Yeah, he remains anonymous. Like, what the hell? That whole thing looks like a conspiracy of its own to me. Like that, all of that was so weird. It looks almost set up, for her to go through that window.
So I do think that pendulum is going to swing back, and when it does, it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
Up.
I know.
But you're right about big tech needs to go down. The media needs to go down, and big tech needs to go down at the same time because
this next election is super important. And Ned Pepper's brought it up over and over how they're going to try to pack the court. Well, they basically already threatened to have 4 more justices. Why 4? I mean, that's obvious. Which that's not going to pass, by the way. I do not think. Manchin already came out and said he's against it. He's the one that saved the filibuster. I think the filibuster was what they needed. They needed to get rid of the filibuster. Then just an easy 50-50 split goes to Kamala. She gets the tiebreaker, and they could ram through anything. But without the filibuster, it makes it way harder. Okay, and it doesn't give them enough time. So I think even Pelosi she basically said they're not introducing that bill right now because I think they know it'd be hugely unpopular. But another thing he talked about is making D.C. a state. That is going to get introduced. I saw that. Yeah. I still think
the House is voting on that pretty soon.
I think the average Republican and Democrat, we've said this a lot. I think they're on the same side of the same coin. They act like they hate each other. They act like they're against each other. But I think most of them just want to be career politicians and go about their day with no major changes. There were reports that a lot of the Democrats were relieved when Manchin came out and killed the filibuster thing because none of them want to get rid of it. Democrats used that like 240 times during Trump's 4 years. How can you call it racist when you've used it 240 times? I mean,
they don't care about consistency, though. Yeah. It's racist when the other side does it.
But I don't think the Republicans or the Democrats want that to change that much. D.C. statehood's a little bit different. I still don't think it's going to happen.
I hope not. We don't need another shithole state in America. Just keep it whatever it is now.
Puerto Rico, they would kill Puerto Rico. One of the biggest things about them is if you move there and you start a business, you don't have to pay federal taxes. You only have to pay taxes to Puerto Rico. And it's like 1%. Awesome. It's super low. So a lot of millionaires and billionaires are moving there. Worried about how much damage the Dems are going to possibly do those 2 years. I know.
Me too.
But I think that the filibuster was the end of it. I don't think now I think they're going to be grasping for their lives and shit. Media is going to do their best to not show Biden at all. He's going to be the old guy that plays nice, the old grandpa. Yeah, they will just make Puerto Rico shithole.
A shithole if we make it a state. Yeah, probably.
Yep, I agree. Yeah. Well, shit. Should we try to, before we get too much into this, should we show the new UFO thing and maybe even talk a bit about the hybrid embryos?
Yeah, because we got to get to that
We want to get to that, too. We have so much to get to, guys. We might try doing 3 shows this week just because there's too much. I still want to show the Jim Jordan thing versus Fauci. I think that's super important. Bill Maher had a really cool piece basically showing that the media has done such a good fear porn that the average Democrat thinks that you almost have like a 50% chance of being hospitalized if you get COVID when it's closer to like 1% or less.
Yeah, and what I like most about Bill Maher saying that stuff, he gives like a 10-minute little segment, is he brings some rationality to the left from a leftist, and we need to see way more of that. So, I think
he tried to call himself a libertarian. There's so much other shows I watch. They have a hard time covering all their topics. They want to cover because there are so many each day. Yeah, like right before you got on, we were just kind of saying how we were at one point worried that we were going to run out of shit to do, especially at the election. Oh my God, we could do an hour every night and not get everything.
It's crazy how much stuff is happening in the world now.
Every day we're like, God damn it, we didn't cover this.
I start saving bookmarks on just whatever I'm surfing the web. Yeah, and then by the time we get to the show, I've got like 100 bookmarks, so we don't even get close.
I know.
All right, but let's show the UFO stuff right now.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Because
anything aliens is a conspiracy.
Once again, the Pentagon has come out. This is the most the government's ever admitted on aliens, don't you think? In the last year, we've had more than the history of the U.S. Basically coming out and saying that this is a real video and they have no explanation.
Another released confirmed video of UFOs. And dude, we talked about it before, but the off-world vehicles that the Pentagon says they found, and to me it looks like it's almost full disclosure, you know?
Aren't we supposed to get more info on that by like July?
June 1st, they release a report to Congress or something. But you know what's going to happen with that? It's just going to be 100 pages, and it's going to be completely blacked out. There'll be nothing in there for the public.
You know, they act like, well,
here it comes.
Freedom of Information Act, nothing they could do. Bullshit, there isn't. The only reason we found out about MK Ultra, other than conspiracy theorists talking about it, is they burnt most of the records. They just found some that were basically lost. They found some and released it. They're like, oh shit, look, MK Ultra. It turns out that the CIA or whoever was burning the records, and there's no consequences. There's none.
Right.
When you're that powerful, there's nothing we could do. So they're only going to feed you what they care for you to see. Yeah. So then it's going to be a giant letdown.
Yeah, that's why I'm not counting on disclosure on
community. We got to keep using quotes because conspiracy theorists are right now way more than
always
else.
Yeah.
But they're basically coming out and saying, like, is anyone, because the government's telling us this, becoming super suspicious? Because before they're the ones saying, look, there's aliens, obviously there's intelligence life, and the government's lying to us. Now that the government's coming out and saying this, we're so used to the government lying to us, is like, what's their motive? They're not doing this out of the goodness of
right. Heart. Why are they confirming?
Yeah.
So you know what?
So you got Project Bluebeam. That's and.
So I'm with Nesh on this, and so I'm of two minds with the whole alien disclosure stuff happening. Half of me thinks like, wow, there are aliens and they're here. Looks like they're flying around. They flying in and out of the ocean too. That's awesome. And then the other half of me thinks, okay, here comes the fake alien invasion, where they're pretending that these aliens are here, or they're getting ready to do Project Bluebeam, which is it's like
we got to do a conspiracy show on that. You got to do a segment on that.
It's a CIA operation where they project images into the sky, right? And they'll be able to make it look like there's kind of anything in the sky, I think. And I think a big part of it was that they're going to make holograms in the sky to look like UFOs.
Supposedly like Muhammad and Jesus and stuff, right?
They might do something like that, yeah. Because
I thought that
the Bible
was like the
says
idea of it,
right?
And I don't know.
Jesus will come in the clouds. Yeah.
Bluebeam will be a fake alien invasion done by holograms and audio in the sky. Probably a fake rapture or God event or alien invasion.
Yeah, everything we just said.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
we should do a show on that.
Oh, we definitely should. We might not. We probably will do lots of shows on it when it happens, Garrett.
I hate to even bring this up right now because you're the crazy conspiracy, but DZD talking reminded me of the stock market. We've got to talk about Peloton before the day's out.
Okay.
But we'll come back to that. Let's keep going on this one.
But yeah, look, you remember Eddie Bravo from Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
For the last few years, he's been talking about that the fake alien invasion is coming. And I had heard that conspiracy before Eddie Bravo probably ever heard about it. And I've been waiting for it too.
Well,
I think it might be coming right now, or it might be a real alien invasion.
For people who don't know what Eddie Bravo is, he's a jiu-jitsu guy that, jiu-jitsu was traditionally fought in basically the pajamas, the gi. He was one of the first guys to say, this is ridiculous. Let's take this gi off and wrestle without pajamas. And his claim to fame is he caught one of the Gracies in a choke, and he was like a huge underdog, and he got super popular from that. And his jiu-jitsu affiliation, kind of branch, is called 10th Planet, and that's from Nibiru, which of course
really?
the Zachariah Stitchin stuff with the Anunnaki coming here and seeding us.
I love that stuff.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it's fun.
So that's where that's from. But he's also a flat earther. I don't think he's met a conspiracy theory he didn't swallow hook, line, and sinker.
But the fake alien invasion conspiracy theory has been around for a long time, and it might be going on.
Panic, I guess. Is that the idea?
It's that.
I don't know much about
it's that, but it's also sort of to consolidate a one world government. So it ties in with that. Anunnaki, Nibiru, flat Earth stuff annoys me. Yeah.
You know what? I still
like it.
Still love the Anunnaki and Nibiru. I fucking love it.
I like reading about all of it. I like reading even about flat Earth. I don't buy into it, flat Earth at all, but hollow Earth, concave Earth. I've read about all that shit. Anything weird like that, I'll read about it.
Do you know what's even kind of cool? Is you've probably heard about the idea that the Great Flood was to kill the giants that were like
half angel,
half Nephilim, which are like fallen angels, and half human and stuff.
Yeah,
it's really cool sci-fi.
I almost half believe that one.
You know, if you were, we don't want to get into Bible talk right now because we've got to get to this, but if you were, I think, a follower of the Bible, it's hard to imagine a God that's supposed to be all forgiving and loving killing every single person that's alive other than one family, unless it was like interbred with demons or whatever.
Yeah.
The Nephilim crap annoys me. Yeah, me more than any of them. But once again, as like looking at it as like sci-fi, I think it's pretty cool. I have studied the Hebrew of the Bible, and it's not the word giants in Genesis. I agree with you.
Huh.
Yeah. And they get
I
to
don't know enough about
the name of the book is. There's a book that's Enoch, maybe, that's not in the Bible that they'll point to for when it comes to the Nephilim and stuff like that. But
all right, well, let's show this UFO video.
Yeah, because we're gonna get into ancient aliens kind of stuff after this anyway.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay. All right, so here's the most recent Pentagon confirmed video.
The U.S. Navy photographed and filmed pyramid-shaped UFOs, or commonly called UAPs now, and advanced transmedium vehicles. There were a number of anomalous contacts, or what they call UAPs or UFOs, that swarmed these carriers, that swarmed these destroyers, some of these stealth craft. Yeah. So what you're seeing is some of what I obtained and released is some of that footage. These are 3 images that exclusively George Knapp at Mystery Wire released just prior to everything that I released. They represent 3 separate objects, or in the classified briefing to intelligence
we showed on the
show that was put out May 1st, 2020, for anybody that has access to those systems. These are represented in that intelligence briefing as 3 separate craft. The Acorn, the blimp with payload, or metallic blimp with payload, and then the white sphere. We were able to double confirm and then triple confirm that indeed these are educational tools to teach, again, the intelligence community.
Do we have just
about
the video
this UFO
of
presence here on planet Earth, so that they're
we don't need
as
to
well
talk,
as
this
the
guy talk,
6 images.
I want to just kind of show the
actual film.
All of triangle one that's newest, but
this one, you mean?
Yeah. Do you need to hide us so people can see it better?
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of the whole thing is what it shows.
Yeah, it's not very long. It's just weird there's another one. Have there been other UFO shapes that were triangle? Do you know? Or like pyramid?
Well, not that I can think of, except that, you know, the UFO sightings that, like, often the UFO sightings, the 3 UFOs will form like a big triangle.
Yeah, you're right.
Have you seen those?
Those images are such low quality. There's never a good video of UFO that looks realistic.
True.
Yeah.
This one's kind of the best one almost.
Not easy to get a good video of something out in space. Yeah, you're right.
But the other thing is, you know, the earlier released UFO videos from the Navy that show those ships flying into the wind and then they go super far down.
Sighting was triangular. Yes, that's right. It was. You know, that's curious to me. Just because of how much the triangle and the pyramid is in kind of esoteric stuff. And then just the whole thing with pyramids, how pyramids are found. Basically, so many of our old cultures, pyramids are found, and they're very similar. And I know that the skeptics is going to say, and they're maybe right, that it makes sense to build stuff in a pyramid. It's the easiest one. You start throwing stuff and pound it up, it starts looking like a pyramid. But it is interesting.
You're about to make a cool point, I think.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
So
Okay.
something kind of cool happened. I guess you'd say cool. In the during World War II, when the U.S. was getting ready to attack Japan, they were basically island hopping, and they were creating little strongholds. And when they did that, there were a lot of primitive tribes, and I think some of that were even completely uncontacted. So imagine you're a tribesman back then, have never seen anything like it, and you see a plane land, and there's crates basically being dropped, and people being dropped by parachute and stuff. And I think the soldiers actually did trading and stuff with these guys. So I mean, their minds had to have been blown. But what happened is they call it a cult. I guess you could say it's their religion. I don't know what make it a cult, but they call it the cargo cult and the John Frum cult and a lot of different names. Basically, what happened is these guys didn't know how to explain this, and they liked what they were seeing in these crates and what they got for trade and everything, and they wanted it to come back when this was over. World War II was over. They basically left them and said, "See you later."
So, like the tribe, they got chocolate bars from this
Yes.
World War II pilot, and they got.
And I think even a lot more. I think they even kind of got some technology, basically.
Okay.
So the ancient alien theory is that we got technology and traded tech, and there's still theories of that happening in the 1960s that we were trading technology with the aliens and stuff. But the weird thing, there's two things. One, their religion changed. They took like their old religions. They're kind of more like ancestral type religions, and they blended it with this, basically saying their ancestors gave John Frum. John Frum is another name for it that some had, and it's short for like John from the Navy or John from the Army. They think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they basically said our ancestors gave John from the Navy the special technology, but we want to call them back. So what they did is they started to build replicas of what they saw. So they started building replicas of airplanes, of radio towers, of crates, basically. And they even mimicked a lot of the same stuff. Like they'll have like bamboo wood that they'll paint red, and they'll march. They look like soldiers marching with bamboo instead of rifles. And they're basically waiting for these super intelligent beings to come back and revisit.
So they were building.
That would be really weird to me if we start seeing more pyramid-shaped UFOs. Because it makes you wonder then, because these are primitive tribes, and it didn't happen in just one island. It happened in numerous. There was the John Frum cult. There was another one that was like a Prince, who was it? Prince Philip back then or something. There's a Prince Philip one. There was a number of these cults. If humans are doing this once, they're going to do it more. But here's some of the stuff they were building. They're supposedly troops that they're mimicking.
So the tribe,
waiting.
Right. The tribe built this. They built these replicas of the planes they saw. So you're making the point that if we see pyramid-shaped UFOs, maybe the pyramids in Egypt were an example of this.
Yes. Mimicking what they see, calling them back. And they saw like, you know how planes land, you got the people with the paddles basically directing planes. Apparently these people will go out there with like cylinders and do the same thing, trying to call them back.
Oh, that's what that is. I think there are 66 degrees in the angles of the pyramid. That's one reason for the satanic connection.
There does seem to be a ton with the New World Order, the globalists.
Yeah, the pyramid on the Eye of Providence, back of the dollar and all that shit. Like, I think so.
That's on the dollar.
But even that could be, even the Illuminati pyramid relationship could be because of the alien UFOs.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
They could be working with the weird aliens or something. Who knows?
Let's go back even further. We go back to Genesis. Look at how weird is the Genesis story with the apple of basically knowledge, the fruit of even the knowledge. And before then, we were naked animals, essentially. I'm exaggerating here, but naked animals ate it. And all of a sudden, we have knowledge and have clothes and guilt and all of that. Let's say...
And the serpent
when
tricked
the
us
alien
into
came down, they did some DNA splicing and took us from dumb apes to humanoids. It even makes more sense then, because that's the Satan in the Bible. And then that would almost be kind of the Satan in the early UFO history, basically.
Right. It's going to be stupid when these pyramid-shaped UFOs are UFOs and they're lizard people. You know, it's gonna be dumb when there's serpent lizard aliens.
And
Just like
you do
Alex
see-
Jones said.
And you do see the carvings that look like people in basically spacesuits and stuff like that on
Yeah.
there.
Okay, so you think this picture is they're making
You can
these
find
things?
No, this is rifles. They're
Oh,
marching
okay.
like soldiers would be marching and stuff.
Oh, okay, that would make sense too from World War II. It
Yeah.
probably will be
And-
pyramids and lizards. No shit.
And,
It probably will be.
You know, a lot of the U.S. troops back then were very Christian. Look at this kid. They were Christian and stuff. So they had the crosses. Well, now crosses is even, when people die there, they put a cross on their graveyard and stuff. And the runways, they make runways now too.
Okay, weird. So, but
If you want to,
yeah, it's pretty interesting.
now go to this video I linked you and start at like a minute 24.
Okay, hang on.
Along this great ocean route, 10 cargo planes connect Hong Kong with Australia. They land each day at Port Moresby, and the cargo cult has its temples almost everywhere nearby. This is one. Its altar is standing 9,000 feet above sea level. The dummy plane is at the edge of the landing strip. At the other end, the control tower. The natives of the Roseau and
That's
Mikao
so
tribes are waiting for some plane to land on their strip, attracted by the bamboo model. They believe that planes come from paradise. Their ancestors sent them. But the white man, a crafty pirate, manages to get his hands on them by attracting them into the big trap of Port Moresby.
So this one's a little bit different because there's planes still landing here at this time. A lot of the cults never saw a plane again.
But these, okay. And they're like, why are they landing over there? They should land at ours.
You build your plane too, says the cargo cult doctrine, and wait with faith. Sooner or later, your ancestors will discover the white man's trap
The cargo
and will
cult
guide the planes
is
on
the
your
name of
landing
it.
strip.
John Frum,
Then you will be rich and
F-R-U-M, is another more specific one. Because this happened in numerous places. So these tribes aren't contacting with each other. And they all have, I should not talk over that. They all have their own iterations of this. Where some, they completely overtook the religion. Some, they blended it with it and stuff. And
lots of them built replicas.
And it depends what country it was and kind of what branch and stuff. But they all are doing this kind of similar thing.
Yep. And
you know if they did this, that means basically it's in our nature. Every other basically primitive human would do the same thing for the most part.
It would explain that the phenomenon of pyramids being in South America and in Egypt and in other places throughout the world. That if there were aliens landing here and giving us apples, whatever.
Yeah.
That's should we keep watching this or not?
You get the idea. If you guys want to watch more Cargo Cult, John Frum.
I'm gonna look into it more.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. And I mean, obviously we're reaching on this, but it's cool to think about.
Yeah, it's one kind of cool theory, I guess.
Is with the pyramids, especially like in Egypt, that is a lot of manpower they use to build those. And this wouldn't be one explanation why, especially if we'll even get deeper. If we get into like the Ark of the Covenant was really giving people food and stuff like some of the ancient alien people believe, it makes sense. They're thinking, we want another one of those. Yeah. We want more of this.
Yep. Well, we're running out of time, Garrett. We got to get into the hybrid human-animal shit going on right now. Yeah. So let's just jump into that. I got
another video for this to show you too.
Okay. I've got an article about it somewhere.
We're going to file this under another Alex Jones was right? Or is this one of those that you just knew eventually science was going to get to? We've known, of course, people that don't know, I guess, one of the definitions of a species is that two of those animals could breed and have viable offspring, meaning that their offspring could also reproduce. Yeah. That's why like a lion and a tiger could have an offspring, but they're a different species because their offspring is basically can't reproduce. I think it's the same thing with mule, if I remember right. There's other cases in nature.
What is that? A horse and a donkey make a mule,
so.
something like that. I think. Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to say I don't know.
I think so.
But your chromosomes have to be pretty similar to be able to have an offspring. It makes. I mean, we're in the same line. We know that humans interbred with Neanderthals, so we know that in the past, for our history, there has been interbreeding between different species that have now. I mean, you and me and everybody now has Neanderthal DNA in us. It's just a matter of how much.
Well, not me.
I'm
too advanced, Garrett. No. Yeah.
So it's obviously possible, and you knew that eventually science was going to try this. There's been lots of stories in the past about this, like supposedly Russian scientists have claimed to do this, but then euthanized I think while still in the uterus type of thing, where they kind of had second thoughts on it.
There's conspiracies of ancient people doing this also,
yes.
I mean, which ties in with the aliens again.
Kind of gross, but there has been humans and apes, or at least chimpanzees, something in the line have actually mated.
Isn't that how AIDS started? Do you remember that? That's what they said for a while.
Is it?
Yeah, but then they said never mind to that.
Hey, it's happening. It's not pleasant to think about. I don't believe in Neanderthals, but a young Earth. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that sometime,
yep.
man.
But at some point there's been coitus between humans and something on
and
that.
A really sexy monkey.
And so there's
really
been
beautiful monkey.
There's rumors of them, and there's actually one that was live called Oliver the Chimp, who they called a Humanzee, that they basically said was a half human, half chimp. And there's videos of it. It's kind of fun to watch.
Weird.
I do think there's nuclear exposure for you get into the Bhagavad Gita and all of that.
Oh yeah.
That basically, if you read some of those, it definitely looks like a nuclear war is happening. We gotta get into that sometimes too.
Yeah. Who knows what's going on prehistory and
I know.
Who knows? There's so many great theories though. Okay, but anyway, so let me just read this. For the first time, U.S. and Chinese scientists have created embryos that are part human, part monkey, in an effort to find new ways to produce organs for transplants. But some ethicists worry about how such research could go wrong. Yeah, we're going to freaking human monkey humanzees run around,
And why didn't we load up Alice Jones'
this.
clip? Why did we load that up?
Well, I don't know. Is there one that's short and sweet where he says...
I think we're not going to have time to find it, but...
Yeah. Because I don't know what clip it would be, but...
At first, I don't know how they did this. I mean, did they have to change the DNA to do this?
I don't know. I don't know either, but I'm against it. You know what I mean? I don't think we should be doing this shit. Yeah, I think it's immoral to create half man.
Oh, really?
Half
I haven't seen that movie that you're talking about.
Movie with the clones with Scarlett Johansson? I haven't seen that either.
Me neither. But there are a huge amount of organ transplants come from motorcyclists. So what happens when we all get autonomous driving and there's no more car accidents? There is going to be a lot less organ donors.
We'll just do what they do in China and take them from the prisoners.
Oh, dang. Speaking of, we're not going to be able to get to Nazi Canada this show probably.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to have a hard time fitting it in.
Luckily, over the next weeks, I think over the next few weeks, the Nazi Canada stuff will only heat up. You know what I mean?
Email, that conspiracy theory email, that's happening faster than... I mean, last time we showed that, we didn't have these weird lockdowns that were supposed to happen, and we didn't have... Now they're talking about an emergency order, but they're telling cops, Ford told cops, basically to pull people over and ask them where they're going. If they don't have a good enough answer, it's $750 fine.
Yeah. And that lady told people to rat on their neighbors, which I have that video too. But maybe we should save that for next show.
Yeah,
of all the Nazi, because there's going to be more Nazi Canada stuff. I mean, they're in big trouble up there, dude.
Yep, every day.
Soon they're going to have human monkey police knocking them in the head and telling them, you know.
You know what? Go to your email again and play the first minute of the Humanzee video I sent you.
Okay. Humanzee, what the hell is this?
But they have this is actual real video of this.
Okay.
Walks in two legs. You're gonna want to play that.
So the idea of this is a half human, half.
This was a wild animal that was caught, and I can't remember where. You have to play it. Yeah, just play it out a little bit. They'll talk about it for a bit.
In January 1976, news broke of a phenomenon. Pictures showed an upright, bald ape called Oliver, who appeared to be a cross between a human and a chimpanzee, what scientists refer to as a humanzee.
The existence of Oliver represented the first really tangible bit
freaking me out.
Of ostensible evidence
if he would run,
a human-chimpanzee hybrid.
You know, one of the things they're looking for, of course, is like another bipedal animal. The definition right now for that is if it runs, if you're chasing it or something, and you're running, it will get down on all fours and run that way. That means it's not bipedal. Well, this thing will run with two legs, and it does most of its walking with two legs.
I feel like there would be no question if they just did DNA testing on this thing.
So I think they're going to get into that here, but DNA testing wasn't even invented back when this was first.
Okay. I wonder if they still have this thing's bones. You know what I mean?
I think there's a small chance it might have died not too long ago. But you just play this out too. Okay. If people want more of this is called Humanzee or Oliver the Chimp. And there's some cool episodes of stuff you could watch on this too.
But dude, the idea of let's say that we splice humans and pigs and we're trying to make new human pig hearts to.
Yep.
But then the pig man one day goes, "I'm alive." You know what I mean? It's like, we can't be doing this.
I can't agree more.
Yeah. The guys, scientists, need to slow down or fucking think about what they're doing, I think, because it's really messed up. But it's just like cloning. Like, I want to know what's going on with cloning.
Nothing wrong with cloning. Nothing at all.
I don't think they should clone humans.
It's no different than twins. Twins are clones of each other.
Twins aren't...
Identical twins are perfect clones of each other. They start at the same embryo with the exact same DNA, and it splits off into two. And they grow from there.
You're going to have us in a Cloud Atlas world where we have clones who they're made by Walmart. No, they're made by McDonald's, and they're just worker clones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? Nash is bringing up a good point here. Human clones would be way easier if they really are just trying to make hearts and...
Yeah, what? Why are they mixing us with pigs?
I don't know.
Man, bear, pig. We almost named this episode Man, Bear, Pig.
Because why would it? Because it's not like it's going to be less ethical. It's still really fucked. It might be more fucked up mixing it with a monkey.
Yeah, it is more fucked up. Except, why can't we clone a thing but it's not alive and we just clone the heart? I think that's the ultimate goal.
That's what they're going to try doing with lab-grown meat and stuff. But yeah, going back to it, identical twins are perfect clones of each other. They start off the same embryo, they split, they have the exact same DNA.
Sure, but they aren't clones.
Yeah, they are. It's a definition of a clone.
Well, but they occur naturally, and they aren't.
We have naturally occurring clones.
Okay, well, then I am against unnaturally occurring clones.
It'd be this exact same thing.
Except...
If I cloned you right now, it would be like you have a twin, but he's born... But instead of someone's having a twin, and you go in and yank one of those embryos and deep freeze it, and you wait 34, 5, 6 years and implant it in someone that's born, that'd be the exact same thing as cloning you right now.
It wouldn't be the exact same thing because
it would have better
sperm and an egg. There's a difference between a sperm and an egg uniting and creating life and creating twins, and taking my DNA and splicing it into a person. There's a difference.
So when you
even though our DNA ends up being the same,
you still have a sperm and egg when you clone.
Still have a sperm.
Take a
you
sperm.
could clone me.
Yep.
Right, with my hair.
Yep.
That's different than when a man and a woman have twins together.
But they still have sperm. What they do is they take a sperm cell, they take that DNA out, and they put your DNA in, but they're still sperm. And they take that and hit an egg that has the same DNA.
Whose sperm is cloning me? Whose sperm is creating my clone?
Donor sperm.
So it's sperm which is tricked into creating a
crazy
clone
folks
of
will
Nate.
want to clone their favorite pets. There's an issue, I think.
Nate is right.
Dolly the sheep.
Thanks, Nash. Garrett skipped your message. Stop reading.
I don't see anything. I see Brave New World and I see Ned. But like Dolly the sheep, I believe, died young and had health issues. And I think it's the telomere length. I think what it was. I shouldn't even say it because I'm not sure.
Jamie Hayes.
But the telomeres, as people that know it, as a cell divides, one of the theories on aging and one of the things that is going on probably is the telomeres, which is basically this junk DNA, gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And eventually that junk DNA is no more there and it starts hashing into really important shit. Well, I think with clones, that telomere length isn't extended. And so I think you kind of are basically not, you're born with disadvantages that way with clones. So I think that's one of the reasons too they haven't cloned a human, is for the ethical reasons like that.
Right. Because maybe they can't get the telomere thing fixed. But even if they could, and it was an exact DNA replica with absolutely no differences, it would still be a different thing than a twin. Because it's just the fact of how it's created makes it different, dude.
Nope. Because it's not like your consciousness is going to be in there or anything.
Somewhat, yeah, I know, but there will be a consciousness in there.
If I just have myself cloned over and over and over.
Yeah.
I believe junk DNA is memories from ancestors or even instincts. Interesting.
I think that there's some...
there is definitely...
Where are instincts? They must be hard-coded somewhere.
There's some weird stuff like that. They've done experiments where they've taken like a bird and they take baby birds that were born in like a tower. These birds have not seen another animal their entire lives. And they'll have like a triangle fly over it and nothing. And they'll have other nonsense flying over it. And then they have like one of the predators fly over it and these little baby birds go fucking ape shit.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's really interesting experiments they've done.
It's just kind of, and also just kind of our built-in fears and stuff about, snakes. Snakes was one of our big issues in the past. Even dark, kind of your fear of dark being alone. I mean, you were vulnerable then. And there's some good theories that's where sleep came from, was an anti-predatory thing. And so you're awake at night, you kind of get scared. And then you wake up, and you're like, what the hell is why was I worried about that?
Oh, yeah.
So it does feel like that there is definitely something, that innate intelligence.
Yeah, and it might be coded in the DNA somewhere. Because it's like, where else could it be? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the only thing passed down. You probably heard too, like the theories that like fantasy, like The Hobbit and stuff, came from DNA memory back when there was warring of the humanoids and stuff, like all the stuff like that. But so yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Well, anyway, do you think this thing might be a half human, half?
I don't. I think this was a chimp born with some sort of
vitiligo.
Mutation.
Yeah.
Play it out for a little bit. It's kind of interesting to watch it for a little bit too.
Oliver's photograph shocked the world, and in the media frenzy that followed, he became an international celebrity. In Japan, his human-like behavior earned him cult status. In New York, some journalists described him as the missing link. Others dubbed him Bigfoot. Oliver gradually faded from the spotlight and eventually disappeared. Now, 30 years on, he has been found still alive. And with the latest DNA profiling, we can finally solve the mystery of the Humanzee.
That's probably what it is. Because they did kind of say it had some human characteristics and smarter than the average chimp type of thing.
Weird.
So if people want to research that, they got more homework too. I just didn't want to. There's a lot to try to cut down on.
Yeah, it's an hour video there.
Old. You just don't know how much this was real, how much was it, and stuff. But it's kind of another cool topic I thought people would like.
Well, I guess to sum up that little segment, I think that scientists should not be splicing our DNA with animals. Call me old-fashioned.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that South Park mad scientist trying to create more asses on all the animals. Remember that? His goal was to have a 5-assed monkey or whatever. But what do you think will happen with that, dude? Are they just? Is this just just the beginning of some weird science?
You know about Bill Gates? He basically says that people need to start eating lab-grown meat, and we're all supposedly going to.
Yeah.
He owns more farmland right now than anybody. So we have the guy that's the majority owner of farmland telling us that we're going to be eating lab-grown meat. That's, I think, kind of a scary thought too.
Yeah, I didn't used to.
At least tell us the real reason why they're trying. Yeah, because Nash brings up a good point. It'd be way easier if you don't care about the ethics of it, and there's probably less of an ethical dilemma if it's just a human clone or a human embryo.
Yeah, I think it's really
not that I
creepy.
think that's right either, but it's still just, why are they doing that? Just to see if they can. But if we're done with, are we done with this segment?
Yeah, I think so.
Good, because I mean we're getting close, and I think DZD still watching stuff. But have you followed Peloton stock lately? You know what's going on there?
No,
Peloton has been one of the stocks that during COVID has just exploded and is making a lot of people a lot of money. And I had a option of this, and it did very, very well. Awesome. And it's blowing up. I mean, you've heard of the Peloton bike, which is kind of a weird thing, really. They just took a freaking bike, put an iPad on it, and charged a subscription, and charged a lot for the bike, and it's blowing up.
Yep.
Have you taken a spin class?
No.
I haven't. I fucking hated it. I thought it was boring. And I thought it was like, God, this is a waste of my time. It was terrible. But people, you guys want me to do an NFT update eventually? I'm curious what's going to be this year. How that is going to be Yeah, we're actually...
Yeah.
Damn it, we should have opened those packs on air. We got into some NFTs with the NBA Top Shot stuff.
Yeah, we're both buying
start talking about that.
NBA Top Shot NFTs.
And I don't remember who it was. It was one of our viewers. Sorry if I forgot. But somebody basically said they think there's going to be museums with frames that basically are showing your NFT and the proof you have it, yada, yada. And they're doing that. Then now Mark Cuban came out and said he's going to open that up.
See, Mark Cuban probably watches our show. Mark Cuban probably caught that episode of our show.
He is
stole
on
that
NBA
idea.
Top Shot. He buys packs and buys moments and shit. Yes, and I thought spin was super boring too, but it's taken off. I mean, you could go to YouTube probably and find these for free and stuff. I don't know if it's a status thing. I don't know if it's a not wanting to have that fuck with factor, but they blew up. Well, now they're expanding, and it makes that. But guessing you could guess what they're going to do next.
I can't.
Treadmill.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The treadmill, I think it's the same idea. Well, they're big, they're bulky, they're like 450 pounds, but apparently they're not safe. I think so far there's been like 40 injuries, and one of them I think it fell over and killed a kid or something.
Oh no, Jesus!
And so now like the safety commission, whoever the fuck that is, basically saying you have to do a recall on these, and they're saying no, we're not doing a recall. They're denying it. They won't. And so their stock was at like $130 like a week or so ago. And now it's at like 100 and some change and falling. And it turns out that if they were going to do a recall, it's almost impossible. These are $400. They're $400. They're thousands of dollars probably. 450 pounds. They're put together. You can't just take it apart and ship it out. They would basically have to send moving people to every single home that has this.
This is super interesting.
But at the same time, those people doing that would have to have a lot of insurance, because if they hit a wall or break a stairway or whatever, or someone probably can't be removed, what do? So they're just basically kind of doubling down and saying, no, we're not going to do it.
But then they're going to, I mean, there's this theory, there's probably going to be more injuries they're going to have to pay for, and shit. I'm sure they think that'll be cheaper.
And I'm guessing there's going to be fines coming down the line too.
Kid got stuck.
Under.
Oh
frick.
My God. That's horrible. That's a tragedy.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I want to short Peloton stock even now then.
But eventually, it's going to, just like everything, the pendulum swings so far, we're eventually got to be thinking, when is this a buy? When do we jump on this?
Yeah.
But I don't know how long I'm going to sit. I'm on the sidelines. I have not bought any stock since shortly after, basically since the GameStop thing. And it's mainly because of Biden and all these states
lockdowns
not opening up in the world economy. Yeah. And I understand, of course, that we're going to see inflation and stuff, but I think eventually the stock market is going to start falling. And I just don't know how much I'm comfortable with not buying because I'm sitting on the sidelines losing money essentially. But I think I'm going to slowly get back into crypto, I think, even though I think that a lot of crypto is overbought. There's still some cool stuff, some cool projects there.
Yeah. We'll have to talk about NFTs and crypto.
I don't know how they're winning
upcoming show.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been waiting for the dollar crash for 20 years.
Since freedom to fascism back like a decade or two ago.
That's such a great documentary.
That made it's kind of like Dr. Doom talks about, they talk about shift. He always talks about the housing. He predicted one of the crashes. But the guy predicts a crash every day. I mean, he's predicted Bitcoin crashing. When is that $3,000? And he's saying, sell your Bitcoin and buy gold. And if you listen to him, you're boned.
Yeah.
Sorry, Garrett. There's some crazy shit right now where I think a lot of companies have, and then supposedly the Fed is manipulating a market. I agree with that completely. I mean, we saw it. And I think China is too. I think China is manipulating the market because they have vested interest in the market and the U.S. not crashing. But there's starting to be some of these banks are not becoming liquid enough, and some of the kind of investment firms. I mean, we saw a big drop because one of the hedge funds had to liquidate a bunch of shit to pay their debts, and they started to tank the market a bit. So
Melvin Capital, is that what you mean?
Was it them? I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, the GameStop guys. They lost 49%. Is that what you're talking about?
I think, but who was it? DZD might know once our chat's kind of delayed. But there was some hedge fund that had to basically sell a bunch of shit to even up.
Archegos is a bigger one.
The trading companies can just stop trades whenever they want, claim Russia bots or whatever.
All these reasons are the real reasons that I am such a, believer in Bitcoin or any crypto. It's just that they can't theoretically be manipulated by an outside source.
The conspiracy theorists always talked about how the Fed was going to go and make a stable coin called like the Dollaroo or some shit. And now it comes out that they were looking into it. Well, now the UK has come out and basically said the same. We're seeing crypto. We're seeing this big rise. We're looking at getting into it and creating a currency. That is the exact opposite of crypto. The whole idea of it, a couple of them. One, to actually be crypto, which Bitcoin really hardly is anymore. Two, to be decentralized.
Yeah, meaning that's what's important.
Control. Yeah. Right. And three, the blockchain, to have everything basically a giant ledger that's can't be changed, can't be
counterfeited, so on.
Just like that.
But if the government does it, all that is a creepy cashless society where the government can steal your money whenever it wants. Yeah, I don't want that.
Very centralized.
Yeah. No, thank you to that.
Then they're missing the whole point of crypto and Bitcoin when it comes to that.
But I think the governments see a real big opportunity to have complete control of the currency.
Well, who was it? Was it Venezuela that tried to do like an oil coin that was
I don't know.
petrodollar something that was basically tied to that? And it was back in the day, our hardcore crypto guys will probably remember. But it was what was the crypto exchange that had a bunch of the smaller shit coins that basically got taken over and went under?
Cryptopia?
It was there, and there was a giant, it was one of the first like popular pump and dumps because like, hey, this is the petro and the government's behind it. Everyone buy, and it went up like thousands of percents, and then went to the word started. At that point, we'll have two classes, government and slaves.
Yeah, if they had complete control of a currency like that, I agree.
We're kind of going there anyway.
I know.
We've seen that with this COVID, the rich have definitely got richer. And the middle class, which has historically been kind of the small businesses, the entrepreneurs, they're getting destroyed while the big government in bed with government corporations are just making a killing right now.
Yeah.
Just a killing.
Yeah, that's
while at the same time our dollar's just getting destroyed, and
we're looking at some big upheavals in the world.
We got to get into that next time when we talk about Canada too. And I just know we've beaten COVID to death, but it's just the biggest event to happen in our lifetimes.
Yep. There isn't really any independent nations anymore. They are ran by globalists. That's pretty much true.
Especially when you get to the IMF.
Yeah, IMF.
The IMF was
World Bank
basically paying governments to shut down their businesses and go into lockdowns. I really think that was probably behind getting Trump out of office. I think that's another reason that the media did a lot of the heavy lifting, was basically IMF was behind it.
Yeah, which is a pretty crazy conspiracy, but probably true.
They needed somebody that was going to shut down the nation. They needed somebody that was going to become a more puppet and go to war and bomb Afghanistan and Iran and all these countries.
Yeah.
Israel. I know.
I don't.
Israel,
I think
Israel looks like they might be leading the charge on this.
They might be
They're like the most vaccinated nation, I think, almost of the major nations. They basically have herd immunity. But didn't they have even ankle bracelets basically monitoring people?
Yeah,
and stuff?
They jammed that vaccine passport through right away on everybody.
I agree with you, Nesh. That surprised me.
Yeah. It's a brave new world out there, everybody.
It is.
And it's going to get weirder. It's weirder every day. I think that the U.S. has some hope because of these states. Like Texas and Florida.
We talked about it. Think if Gilliam was like a 2-1 favorite in the betting odds. Nate Silver gave DeSantis almost like a 0% chance of winning. And DeSantis won by the slimmest of margins. I think if that happens, Florida doesn't open up, which Texas doesn't open up.
Right.
Which it makes it way easier for Biden to do a nationwide mask mandate, a nationwide shutdown. I think they might have seriously saved the world.
Yeah. I think you're right. I really think you're right. And I hope you're right. I hope that they continue to be able to fight against this kind of ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Canada and some of these other countries, as far as what could happen here, it's really scary thoughts, you know?
We have a lot of
I don't think it will now.
Listeners. We've got to put our heads together and find out how to get rich off of this, because there's going to be a massive, massive change of wealth going on still. We just need to be on the right side of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're way behind. We're going to do probably another hour and a half on Thursday. We might even try doing a weekend show to try to catch up. Do you have anything to play us out on? I know we have a lot of really unique videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's put our heads together. Oh, God, I was doing it as I was leaving. I was making a Nate and Garrett show subreddit. I figured that'd be the easiest. We could just start there, kind of all talk, share links, all that.
Yes, whatever you want to show. If you want us to talk about something on the show, any crazy crap.
Yeah, I think there's better places to go, but I think that would be the easiest just to get started. And I was trying to do it as I was leaving work, and I basically hit enter, and I formatted our name wrong. It looks like we're not going to be able to fit the Nate and Garrett show, so it's probably going to be Nate and Garrett show. But I think there might not be able to be any spaces, so we'll have to.
So did you make one or not?
No, it didn't let me. I need to reformat the name.
So we'll try to do that before the next show.
Yeah, before the next show, and then let's put our heads together and get rich off this giant global shift of money.
Yeah. Okay, I've got some random videos to show. You've seen that
you
sheep
show
one?
This one.
Oh yeah, this one's pretty great. Okay, so here's a video of like a robbery taking place. I'll play the sound too.
Yeah.
Give me your money.
Are you serious? He's a stuck pig. Can you believe that? He's almost acting like, how fucking dare you not just get robbed?
Yeah.
His friends yelling, let him go.
Leave him alone.
They hold this guy up.
Oh, that's a good body slam.
It is. He does a knee on, in jiu-jitsu, that's basically a knee on belly, but the guy's face down, so it's a knee on back.
I do love that he just...
if he's got a little bit of training. But it's funny because he had no doubt. He basically said,
Are you serious?
If you listen closely, he says, are you serious?
Yeah, and then he just... Is that a gun or a knife? Or, I don't know what it is.
It's got to be a gun, right?
It could be a knife. I mean, he holds it like a gun. But whatever it is, this dude's a badass. And I like that he just beat the shit out of the kid, like, very effectively, and then says, get the fuck out of here. Like, I kind of like that
he's calm. Yeah, he's not nervous.
Yeah.
And the guy squeals like a stuck pig. Do you know a traditional martial arts that we kind of make fun of, the really extreme ones a lot in the show? But they'll try to say that they would rather someone come up with them with a gun than a knife.
Oh, I
say they're crazy. They're crazy. I would much rather someone come up with a knife. You could control the hand. And I tell them, like, all right, get me a paintball gun, and I'll give you a chalked knife, and we'll have a go. We'll see who wins.
Yeah, we'll see if you die first. Yeah. Let's play this out. This guy will play us out. This is just this guy knows that he is a huge hero. That's all I'll say about this guy.
Is he trying to cry?
Yeah, he's doing his best to cry. Yeah.
You think he posted this on Facebook and Twitter?
I'm sure he did.
You can hear me getting cred.
I forgot to. Okay, so this reminds me so much of the mayor of the George Floyd town who cried in front of his casket. We showed that on the show. And it's
more and more is coming out that George Floyd was not a good person.
Yeah.
He probably shouldn't have been killed by the cops.
Yeah, I'm sure he
But
should.
I mean, he held up a pregnant lady with a knife. He's got a long history of violent stuff. And we have a mayor crying acting like he cares.
Well,
he doesn't care.
Yeah, the mayor was obviously just doing political theater, and it's just despicable,
Yep. Mark Dice. I don't know if you heard us talking about earlier. It's going to be interesting. There's some money to be made betting on that. And I think it's like almost 25 cents, I think, wins you $1 right now if you put that on acquittal. Gets charged with nothing. And I think he's likely to be charged with one charge. But I think I'm going to take the odds because it's so nice. And I might put a few hundred on it.
On what? What would you bet?
The 4-1 odd or 3-1 odds that he doesn't.
Oh, that he's off? Man, that would be crazy if he.
I think it's probably closer to a 50-50 that he gets off.
Wow.
But anything below that, I'm starting to think that might be smart money.
I wonder what the riots will be like if he gets found not guilty of anything. Like.
The riot's going to be terrible either way. There it is. Yep,
yeah.
Right.
Either way, they will riot. Yep. No kidding.
All right, guys. Well, it's good to be back.
Fun show. This was fun. This was a fun show.
Yeah. We will hope. God, my next show, there might be a decision. God, if there's a decision,
we'll have to talk about that
live that night.
Oh, maybe
just show some of the live streams.
Yeah, good
maybe
idea.
Not even have a show where we talk about anything. We just show live streams and talk about it.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Thanks, Dash.
Yeah, thanks. So thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you Thursday at 10 and maybe sooner.
And come to our subreddit when it's up. Let's get rich.
Yeah, let's figure out how to make money. All right, guys. Peace.
See you guys.
Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stoppin'. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens.